Hey comic kids, Cash Cow back with another video. Today we're gonna do comic stock spotlight on the Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts, guys, like their first appearance has been bubbling for years, and I mean years. I really honestly want to say maybe the last 3 to 5 years. There's been whispers and talks of the Thunderbolts making an appearance. Guys, this is like an unorthodox team, and it's kind of like DC's version of Suicide Squad is like the Thunderbolts. They're a super villain team that tries to change their public image and be championed as heroes. The leader, the first thing, like the first group, Baron Zemo, actually recruits pals from the Masters of Evil. With that being said, guys, I feel like it's only a matter of time. We're either gonna get the Dark Avengers as a villain superhero team, or we're gonna get the Thunderbolts. So we might get both. With the streaming services, it's a possibility on both. Guys, like, so you have Baron Zemo, you have Beetle, you have Fixer, Moonstone, and Screaming Mimi. Those are the original members of the Thunderbolts. They changed their names once they become the Thunderbolts. I'm not gonna really go into that. It's kind of like whatever technology they receive, or different powers, they'll change their name to that. But what they're originally called is that. Now, with that being said, guys, let's dive into the first comic. I'm gonna give you 3 comics on this that you guys probably might want to look out for. And the first one, we got Thunderbolts number 4. It's the first appearance of Jolt. Now remember, guys, I told you the original members, Jolt actually joins the group after a while too. She's an Asian American superhero. Her family was killed, and then she was experimented on, and somehow she found her way to Baron Zemo's group. Guys, I feel like this is one of those characters that's finally going to be put in it, because it's usually like a six superheroes, super villains. I This is one that I feel like is gonna eventually come to fruition, guys. Like, I feel like Jolt is gonna be introduced, and she's gonna be introduced that way through the Thunderbolts. Guys, people have been speculating on this group for so long, and the first appearance of this comic is selling pretty decently right now, guys. Get that. If you can, get your hands on that, man. It's not that much information out there, unless you're like a fan following the Thunderbolts. You really don't really know about the Thunderbolts. You hear rumblings about them, and you're like, eh. But really, at the end of the day, the Thunderbolts are the Masters of Evil that just basically transferred over and tried to rebuild their identity after the Avengers and the Fantastic Four was killed in the comic book Onslaught series. So after they were killed, they felt like they needed to fill that void, and Baron Zemo was the leader of them. And he felt like, hey, we can fill this void, and basically we can go in, change our image, become superheroes, then we can gain access, a public figure, to like shield secret, weapons or whatever they got going on, and then become a double agent and be selling the technology to the underworld, and so eventually their plans are revealed that they're really not superheroes. Well, some of them are, some of them aren't. Gets deep, guys. That's the first one you guys might want to build. That to me is definitely a hold. Hold that one. I feel like once the Thunderbolts are introduced, or if or when, that's gonna be definitely a popular comic. You saw some games a few months ago when the what was it Captain America and Winter Soldier series, because Baron Zemo was in that, so they didn't know if Jolt was gonna be introduced through that. And the way the series ended, the first season, you're like, okay, well, I, we might get the Dark Avengers instead. Still hasn't stopped anybody from investing in the Thunderbolts. That's a hold, guys. Buy that and hold that. The second one, we got Thunderbolts #1. Of course, this is graded, had it for a while. Came out in 1997, April 1997 exactly. This is their first issue to start their own series. And guys, what can I tell you other than, whew, this starts off everything. This don't start off like their first appearance, but this starts off their long series run. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they made it up to like the 100s, 125 or 144 or something. They had a nice long run because their first appearance was so critically acclaimed. People was like, "Oh, I want to know more about these characters." They're people like the fact of something different. So, like, yeah, they like your Avengers and your Fantastic Four and all that. I get that. But why not throw in a curveball or a wrench here and there and change it up? Switch it up, right? This starts their first solo series. This is a comic that's flying very under the radar. And I'm like, I don't know why, because it starts their solo series. So, the first appearance of these guys is already getting out of hand. So, I feel like this is going to be the next best thing to it, guys. This is definitely a buy. This is a buy. The first one was a hold. This is a buy. Buy it. Because it's cheap right now. People aren't really investing in it because they don't know. Or the information hasn't been put out there enough to where they know, okay, I need to go after their first solo series, #1. They don't know. You have Umbra mentioned. You have Thunderbolts Prelude. It's like a Thunderbolts NN. That's like a reprint of their first appearance. That could be important coming on down the road. With the Thunderbolts is weird because you have so many like you have a Norman Osborn group that he leads with Bullseye and all this stuff that could be put into play later on down the road. You have Yelena, which is Black Widow's sister. She joins the group, so you don't know if they're gonna introduce the Thunderbolts that way or if they're gonna stick with this original version. And even if they do decide to introduce the newer version of Thunderbolts, people still are going to buy the first and original older version of Thunderbolts. It's time tested. It can't change. Like, even if you have a Thunderbolt series out and the issue where that issue where it's Norman Osborn and it's Bullseye and it's Elena, yes, that'll get hot, but people are still going to go back to the first appearance of it because that's still, in their minds and in my mind, still the first appearance of the Thunderbolts all together. And they have to do that story as a prequel or whatever to bring you up to speed to how they even got to this series if they decide to go that way. With that being said, guys, the main comic that you guys need to invest in is the Incredible Hulk number 449. That's the first appearance of the Thunderbolts. This is the main copy. This is definitely a buy, but this is the main copy you guys need to get your hands on and really focus on. It's kind of low right now, so people have buying opportunities to where I've seen some graded ones selling for $150 or less. Once it is put in the public that, hey, we're going to go ahead and roll this thing through and this is when it's going to come, you can forget it. I can see this issue jumping up to maybe $300-400 copy. You know, it's really that serious. People are all waiting on this, and they have been waiting on this for some time now. That being said, guys, like the content, like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to. Open to any of those. Cash Cow with another video. I'm out.